can we allow that failure is useful? So within this group, to fail something is actually really useful. And it means that you tried it and it just didn't work the way that you tried it. And that's fine. Yeah? If you look at American culture, right? They're brilliant at this. You know, failure means you tried, and it's like, go you. Whereas here, it's like, oh, you failed? Oh, yeah. You should just not leave your house. Just don't. I wouldn't tell anybody if I was you. You know, we've that sort of approach of it, yeah? So failure is really useful. Fail as much as you want at this, because there is no real failure in it. However long it takes you to learn, yeah, that doesn't matter. So let's leave that piece outside. That doesn't have room here. You can fail at this as much as you want. Yeah? Don't suffer in that. Don't crucify yourself in that. If you feel, I've done this wrong, or this didn't work for me. Yeah? That's when you pick up the phone and go, so I tried this and it didn't work. Or I stopped practicing my mantra for 3 days and now I can feel the effect of that. Yeah? We can fix it. Don't leave it go on for weeks and months until it's a major issue. So when you recognize, oh, that didn't work, yeah, come to me. We'll find a way forward. We'll find another way through it. Yeah. A lot of the things that you come and ask me about, I've encountered the same in myself. Most of the time, I've encountered the same, and I've found a way through it. So I'll share that with you. It may or may not work for you, but I'll share it with you. Yeah. And if it feels that what worked for me may not work for you, I'll share something else. But we'll find a way through it. If you're willing, we'll find a way through it. If you're not willing, or you don't know how to be willing, then we have a different issue. But failure's fine. Failure's really welcome, actually. Okay? Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Yeah? Bring your failures every week. Yeah? That's our starting point. So, what did you fail at this week? Okay? That's going to be our opening line. What did you fail at? Yeah. Let's bring it in that way. And let's take that fear out of failing things. Yeah. So it's grand to fail now. It's like, oh, well, listen, I tried this and Jesus, it was a disaster. Yeah? I'm going to try this way next time. You know, when I started doing things like fasting, for example, and I'd found out from Clodagh, okay, so your fasting day is a Tuesday. And I was like, okay, nice one. Came home from India, full of enthusiasm. I will do fasting on Tuesdays. And Tuesdays was like my busiest and longest day. And by lunchtime, I was fit to chew my arm off. And I was like, I can't do fasting on Tuesdays. And I tried it for maybe 3 Tuesdays. And I knew, as soon as it got to lunchtime, there was such a demand on my mental energy and stuff, I couldn't do it. So I redesigned the program. And I looked at my Mondays. My Mondays had a lighter schedule. It would mean that I could sleep a little bit longer, go to work a little bit later in the afternoon, have maybe 5 or 6 hours of a work day as opposed to 8 or 9 or 10 hours of a work day. And that became really manageable. I started that way. I did Monday fasting for probably about 1.5 years. It's only been since the last India trip that I felt, oh, I'll do Tuesdays now. I've completed the Monday thing. And it was purely an intuition. I didn't check that with anybody. It was just, that feels complete. I'm whatever that was to bring for me. It's hard to make it tangible, but it just felt like, okay, Monday fasting, we're done. Now Tuesday fasting. Now I do Tuesday fasting. So there's no failures, really. We're just finding out. I just found out that Tuesday fasting did not work for me, and it took 1.5 years to get there. Fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Is this speaking a lot about how we really handle failure within ourselves? Yeah. I give you permission to fail and you're all like, oh, thank God. Thanks. Yeah. So our goal is that we find that within ourselves. Our goal is that you don't need me or anybody else to say it. You're giving me huge authority over you to say that, yeah, it's okay to fail. But most of this is our own self-criticism, because you don't come and tell me your failures or where you feel that you've failed. Yeah, a lot of you don't. So we hide it. It's like, oh, hope she doesn't notice. Yeah. So let's become okay with our own failures. That we don't allow our ego to turn it into a stick that we criticize ourselves with. Let's make it something useful. Yeah? And then you don't need that from me. Then you can fight me if I'm criticizing your failure. You can go, no, hang on a second, Emer, I've got this. I feel okay with my failures. So can you see where we're bringing this? I want to bring this to a space where anybody else's opinion or approval or validation of you doesn't really mean so much anymore. We need that when we're really young because we're finding our way in the world. But we can keep that in adult world when actually we don't need it so much anymore. We have so much in our own inner resources, but we're really afraid to trust that. It's like your question about the will. I don't feel like I have the will of things. You absolutely do. You're still here living and breathing and standing. So it's absolutely there. But we just may not be looking at it in the correct way that it's useful.